topics. I have a topic because I know that Antoine wants that. What is it about? Founding. Okay. It's founding Antoine. It's not founding, it's founding Antoine. Demos. I assume Dean will have some demos.
Oh, there'll probably be a demo from me of some sort or another. I have a demo for a content menu item, which somebody has put together on as a PR, and I've been helping him with it, so I said I'd demo it on his behalf for him. Maybe, if we have time.
Menu item. Yeah, I saw the PR. I looked at the issue that was created. I think I understand the issue, so we'll see if that's that. I didn't understand the concerns with that. There were some. We'll see topics, demos. Is someone doing a demo about custom settings? Just so we can record it and Gabor can put it on LinkField.
I can do that one as well if you like.
A quick one if you have time?
Yeah, quick one.
You know that, so it's fresh, good. I couldn't find it for when we made the feature 2 years ago. So and maybe that's good if there are some for next week. If there are some mini demos that we can do, some little features that we can show, and then I'm sure Lombik can just grab it and put it available on their demo channels. That's great. And I looked at the channel for the demos, and there were lots of them, but they started a year ago, I think, and there are many things that we showed before that are not there, and that will be super useful. So if we can point people to some little demos, and there are 10-15 minutes usually, and that's what we say. That's what we show usually at these meetings, at the public meetings here on Tuesdays, and so we can point people to these little demos about features.
Taxonomies comes up a lot. People asking about that. So there's a few new features there that we can
show.
We
have that, no?
I'm not sure if there's a video for it particularly, but there's a couple of new shapes that are related and helpful, maybe.
Some little things. I'm sure we have some things, but just in case. So demos, Dean, CodeMirror items, custom settings, and topics. So I know I will see maybe with the PR, I don't think so. On Thursday, we had a long talk about something. What was it? Aha. Because it took so long that the triage lasted 2 hours.
Yes.
And I don't know what it was.
There was a couple of PRs that we wanted to let people know about before they were merged. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
There is one. Yes, there is that we need to. Yes.
And there is another PR from Antoine with the agency recipe, which is
okay. So you'll send the links on the chat while I'm looking at the status then. Great, thank you. So 21st, 23rd removes useless and case-sensitive checks from Hermes. Useless and case-sensitive checks. Just that try pass will fail if it's not there. So it's mentioning it's a useless test, but that's okay. But there was something else. No, that's it. case sensitive checks. Case sensitive checks. Oh, no, I don't know why it's, oh, because maybe this one is case sensitive and this one is not. Maybe. I don't know. That's the only change that was merged on Thursday. There was an Zapier and we asked for some change on that. Orchard core. Orchard core fetched everything correct. So we last time was on the 21st. And you realize that Antoine added all the badges to my account just to make me happy. I saw that he sent a picture, and well, there was a picture on Twitter, and I saw that I had all the badges now. So now I'm glad. Thank you, Antoine. Give me all the badges. You can add more badges to everyone. So contributors, contributions, check LinkField URL. Is there anything that is not done by Antoine last week? Yes. Changes, LinkField URL. Namespace.
Namespace.
Also, I see. Namespaces, content field drivers. Okay. All of them.
Mm-hmm. And about the link field, this is to check for empty values.
If not string empty URL to validate. So if the URL is defined, you are looking for anchors. Substring it, same thing as before. So what's the difference here?
Because if it's null, if you don't fill the type anything in the field URL,
that can be null. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Update CodeMirror, and I saw that it's not on the change, which is sad because we don't see it, but I saw that on the PR you wrote the changelog for the dependency, which is great. So if I go on GitHub,
mm-hmm. I have the link to the release to explain the changes.
Not a pull request?
Yes, it was.
Why is it not showing up then? Okay, weird. Maybe bad paste. So 53.253.0. Oh, links to the release notes in this case, and we see fix regression that broke completion picking, and this one add-ons. Okay, just to see what's new on these components. That's great. CodeMirror updates, upgrade bootstrap-select version. Error in jQuery 350, error setting bootstrap key down. Okay. Admin menu positions. Okay, so I made a comment. So you did it this way. Okay. I made a comment due to some
about the definition.
I think someone posted an issue that they wanted to reorder some things. But you changed it everywhere. And I think in the case I was showing, it was just for the case where we want the things here to be close to each other, content definitions and content parts. This way, you force the order of these two, but you can still use.
But there are sub-levels.
Okay, we look at the issue that I commented on during the triage, but I think my comment was just about when you have items like this that needs to be together. I want to see the issue again, because here by forcing the prefix here, whatever you put on the right, well, oh, but you put AM here. Okay, I see. Everything has AM now in this case.
Yes.
So now all prefix, and then this is this value. Okay. Yeah, that's very. That's, yeah. That's very hard-coded behavior that is hardly understandable in this case. Maybe we need a method just to append the prefix to some localized string with, yeah, just to hide this implementation detail that otherwise you have to copy everywhere. And if we want to change it, we have to change it in every file.
Okay.
Here we need a method, but we'll see after trial. I want to check back that, but I think that's good to have the same prefix everywhere. So the name here will drive the order, but then we need a method. Yeah, okay. I think we need a method. It's bad to have the same string everywhere. It's not even a constant somewhere. So, and in the case of you want to add 1 and 2, then that's an overload of the method to say, okay, custom order for these two, 1 for this one.
Okay.
Okay. Update GraphQL dependencies. Oh, are there some release notes for that? We don't see. Okay, we don't know. Maybe there are, but
You have to go to the GitHub repository.
packages. Not the same versions. 2.4 and here I have no idea. So something changed. We don't know.
Because these are pre-releases. You are using a stable release.
Okay. Ooh. Too many releases. Okay, too hard to understand here. Contributing and link to the .NET Foundation. Okay, and the contribute. Contributing.md, call of conduct, readme. Okay. On Thursday, we suggested we should have a security one here. Is that the thing? Do we have issues with that?
Maybe one or two. Yes.
It's better than none. More than that. Okay. Allow registering name, style, and script resources with inline content. Big PR. And the best part of this PR is that there are unit tests for the previous thing and for the new thing of all the content, the resource manager. So that's good. And it's adding new tags, liquid tags, and razor tags for styling to say where you want your style to be. And what name, style, and script resources with inline content. Registering name, style, and is there documentation? There is an update on documentation. So script name at depends on, and then you can write a custom script. But we had that already, so I'm not sure what's new. Name at.
The new thing with that is that you can now name them, and you can add a dependency on jQuery, and it will force jQuery on the page for you. Previously, with the inline scripts, you couldn't do that.
Okay, so specifically for inline scripts, you can depend on stuff. Okay, good. Use contributor, upgrade the agency theme. Upgrade the agency theme.
It was a mistake. I didn't do a branch, so I reverted it.
Okay. Fix RSS item descriptions. And the issue here was that before this code, you can see here, if body aspect not null, we were using the body aspect. The issue is that we were caching the body aspect for during a request. But if you are rendering many different content items, then we will reuse the same body aspect for all of them. So in an RSS feed, when we build the body of a content item, all the RSS items will have the same body. So Hicham fixed the caching logic to cache also to note what content item ID is stored. And if we don't match the exact content item ID, we don't restore the cached version of the body. Remove deleted dependency. Okay. Fixes rendering draft on front end. So this has nothing to do with the change. This is just fixing the test. So this one, it was looking for the latest version. Now they will look for the published version. Where is the change? Oh, in the extension method. In the extension method, get async will get the published version. Fixes rendering draft on front end from, yeah, okay. We trust Chantilly that he didn't break anything else. Make login, logout, change password path configurable. So this was merged, but didn't approve it, I saw. So the idea is that now you can, in configuration, change the URLs, the endpoints for the login URLs. These ones can't be changed by custom code, I think, so that's why they had to be part of the module configuration. User options, okay. Adding note on hiding shapes from placement. Okay, good job. And that's it. Questions? question. We'll see. We talk about it. Topics. First demo. This one, just this one. Then we'll go to founding. Okay, because this demo should be quick. Dean, your turn.
Sure. Let me just share a screen. Okay, let me know when you can see the screen, guys.
All good.
Okay, so this is just a demo on behalf of Stan. Stan, I think, is from Shanghai, is all I know about him at the moment. But he put this PR together to add a essentially a content picker to the menu item, and just thought I'd give the opportunity to show what was going on here, because it's a nice little, potentially a nice little feature. So normally in a menu, at the moment we just have the link menu item, where you can just put a URL in, or you can put an alias to a content item in. And this one adds a new one, which is a content picker. So we'll just add a and as you can see, this is a site from last week's demo. So when we publish that, and then we look on the front end, we'll get the new menu item in there, automatically linked.
And how does it work? What does it store in the menu item content?
So how it works is it stores the ID from the content picker. So it reuses, if we look at the part definition, it reuses the content picker, and it stores the ID. Then when it comes to render the menu, it looks up the ID in the auto root entries, which is a table that we collect or maintain with all the routes to content items. So it looks up the URL there, and it provides the URL. So there's no database call, so there's no issues. Like we had this feature back in Orchard 1. And
yeah, we did. You didn't like it in Orchard 1. That's why I'm asking.
And I know that's why you're asking. And so one of the problems, if you put, say, 20 content items in your menu with a picker like this, then it would make 20 SQL calls to get the URLs for all those content items. And I've had sites which where the customer demanded a lot of content items in their menus, and it started to drag a little bit. So what we said when this PR came in was John 3 suggested to use the auto root entries, which is, as I was saying, a list of all the routes for all the dynamic items that's maintained in memory at all times. So in this case, we can do a lookup directly in there for the item and provide a route for it with no database calls.
Perfect. And the second level of cache here is that the menu is cached in HTML. So even if it was, I just thought about it as I suggested, as I asked for that, but yeah, we are also caching the menu. So
yeah, I mean, we cache the menu for 5 minutes by default anyway.
That is good.
But it's really nice not to make 20 SQL calls just to build a menu.
And even if you disable the cache, it will still be fine. So that's good.
Exactly. So I was reasonably happy with it. I guess probably my only question is, I suspected you might want to call it the content menu rather than the content picker.
Yeah, because content picker menu item is, yeah, maybe people will be confused by what it is. Okay, so content item menu item, content menu item, okay. Content menu item would make more sense probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably makes sense to me.
Any other suggestions, opinions? Content menu item instead of content picker menu item. Content picker being an implementation detail. Okay.
Cool. So Stan's done quite a lot of work on this PR and done a good job. And if we get it, I think we'll get him to rename it and probably put it in.
And then you suggest that they also add a taxonomy on your item.
Yep, that sounds like a good job too. It was something that that was brought up a while ago by Antoine, and we should have it because we had a few of these features in Orchard 1.
Query menu item. Also.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but do we want to be running queries to build menus out of the box?
Yes, but I understand the concern. At the same time, if people want to run a query, you won't tell them, no, you can't, because we assume that it will be too slow on your site. And they will be like, I need to query my content items. So I don't know, or I'm just, also maybe, I mean, they could, if the menu is cached.
Yeah. I mean, the other one that we've got an implementation of for us, for ourselves is building them out of lists and containers, which has always been quite useful.
Query is more generic. You can do anything. Like I want to get all the last items of this content type or the last blog post in a menu. You can do that. Whatever. It's a menu. You can do it even without a menu module. It's just if you want to integrate inside a list of menu items, some other things, that's useful.
That's the easy way to do it, yeah.
If you just want to render a list of taxonomy items or a list of content items outside of the menu, you can already do that with liquid widgets and parts and sections. And that's good. Okay. Good. Thank you for the demo. And okay, let's talk about funding, because Antoine wanted to suggest that as a topic today. What is it about? Do you want to talk, Antoine, or do you want me to drive it?
No.
You want me to drive it? No.
Yes.
Okay. So if we go on GitHub, the topic is about funding, which is sponsorship and for the project itself, for the contributors, and what are the options? What should the Orchard Core community do for that? What should we not do intentionally for that? So the idea is that on GitHub, let's take an example. I will take Antoine as an example. So Antoine has a sponsor link on GitHub, which means anyone can sponsor this individual. Okay.
You can share your screen, please.
It will help. Thank you. So I will start again. So I was on Orchard repository, and I was on the issue here. And I don't want to lose this issue. And I clicked on Antoine's profile, and you can see the link to sponsor. You can see also it there. So the idea is that anyone or any company can sponsor the individual named Antoine Griffard to do whatever, to continue their work on whatever you want to work on. And here you can, as a GitHub user, you can describe the projects you are working on and you are accepting sponsoring for. And Antoine has two sponsors. What is that? Oh, you have two sponsors. Okay, you have two sponsors. That's what it says. Angular advisors and a private thing. We know who that is, and we don't know who that is. So that's good. So that's for individual sponsoring using the GitHub sponsors features. And anyone can do that. And I assume anyone or everyone should do it if they can, because that allows people to support everyone else. I think GitHub since last week doesn't take any fees for that. The first year they said they will not take any fee either and even match the fees, the sponsorship. But I think now it's super light. They don't take much fee in any ways from the sponsor from the person who sponsors and the person who is sponsored. So that's great. And that's an option to that. Other individual options to sponsor that I know of is very famous Patreon. Patreon here, which is an external website to GitHub, so independent, third-party website that lets anyone sponsor anyone else. And that you could have in your sponsor account. So let's look at something else. For instance, if I go on GitHub, github.com/Vue.js. Vue.js, and I take the Vue project. I won't click on that yet. I want to find this user. This user doesn't have a sponsor, so where is contributors? Evanu. Okay, I will go on Evanu's account. So Evanu is the main contributor to Vue.js, created Vue.js, and I think he's one of the most sponsored open source developers. So if we go to his sponsor here, no, this is not what I wanted. So this is a GitHub sponsors for Evanu, but there is no link to Patreon in this case. So I have to, where do we need to go to see that you can sponsor him on Patreon?
On Vue.js, there is a link to Open Collective.
Vue.js.
Vue.js/Vue.
Now we need to click on this one. So if we, that's the other option. When you go on the link that is associated to a repository, not to a user, then you can, as a repository administrator, we can add people here, like they do, and also add external links to other platforms to sponsor. So these ones will be individual with the sponsor button, and these ones will be any link we want for outside of the website. So in this case, they link to the Patreon for Evanu, the opencollective.com website for the project Vue.js, and this one, which I don't know about, Tidelift, for the NPM Vue package. But if we go to this one, it's also an individual contribution to Evanu. Well, it's a contribution to the individual Evanu. Okay, and same as GitHub sponsors, you can sponsor with a one-off fee or regular one, like here per month, and you can decide the amount. And usually it's public, at least on Patreon it's public. And you see, so Evanu with just Patreon gets $15,000 per month. But the scale of Vue.js is huge. So that's just to put things into to level things. So that's Patreon, and that's a way to here to show that by pointing to people and to links. And these are just what I showed so far, are just ways to contribute to sponsor individuals. The other thing is Open Collective, which works differently. So I assume it's kind of an open association where we can register projects of any kind, including open source projects, not just software. I mean, any activity that you want to sponsor, you can on Open Collective, and open source projects are one way to do that. And then contributors can, well, sponsors can back the project itself with amounts. And then the way it works is that everyone from the project, and that's one of the issues, who is this everyone? All the maintainers of the project will decide to approve or reject a request for funding, which can be reimbursing some travel fees, some hardware costs, some software costs, or just work. Like in this case, if I go on the Vue project, we can see the contribution, where is that? the budget, the expenses. Okay, we can see all the expenses. And what was paid with with the funds of the Open Collective. Okay, so in this case, you can see here a maintenance fee, like maybe hardware, or meetup subscription, airport fees, and some developers that will work most of their time on a project will just invoice their salary that has assumed been agreed with the project owners. Okay, so that's a way also to fund the open source projects. So the two categories I see here is that individual contributions to specific people that can be advertised or not on GitHub sponsors, that will be advertised by each individual on their own page for GitHub sponsors, with maybe links to other platforms. Can be also on your website. You have to explain how much you can sponsor them and for what you could expect as a reward for sponsoring them. And there is also the project itself that you can contribute to, sponsor. And then there is the third entity, which is the .NET Foundation. And I have no idea about, well, I have some ideas, but I'm not sure if they should be added to this discussion. Maybe they should, but I'm not sure what they would do. I know the .NET Foundation can also support projects, and that's what they do, like organize meetups. So the things that we saw here, like organizing a meetup, paying for airport, for room, for anything, they can also do that directly without Open Collective. They will just reimburse the fees for as long as we expose the reason and we agree on that before. So that's also something they can do. But I don't think they would be the equivalent of an Open Collective for anyone to sponsor a project like Orchard directly to the .NET Foundation. I'm not sure they do. They track expenses and budget for each individual project. It's on a case-by-case basis, I assume. Contrary to Open Collective, which is a public project for a specific community. Okay. So now the discussion is about what, as the Orchard community, should we do to support this effort. So on the website, so we have the Orchard core project, we have the Orchard CMS project, GitHub project. We could add here the button that will look like this. I don't think we want to expose any individual in particular, because we are not like these developers who I assume are the main contributors if we look at the contributors list, and also the ones who created everything, but Evan, you being the most here. Maybe this developer is just one of the pro developers of Vue.js that lives on it and that has contribution, that has an Open Collective active account on that, you see. Co-working half January, for instance. So that do that apparently all on their full time. So I assume we can add a link if we wanted, but if we added a link then and not show specific contributors like this here, we could just add links to other external sites. Patreon being another individual contribution, but Open Collective. So the question is then, should we create an Open Collective for Orchard/Orchard core? Or you can put me here, sure. Or should we not do that? Because the issue with an Open Collective is the notion of ownership. Who decides, based on a budget that the community will get, who decides what to spend, how much to spend on, and who to contract? Because
So those look like two different things. As you said, in our case, the .NET Foundation is doing some of the work that an Open Collective would be doing, right? It seems like Open Collective is more about collective expenses that we have as a group, right? Whereas individual sponsorship is more about rewarding individual contributors.
Yes, that's why it's separate.
And it looks like two very different ways to sponsor open source, and both seem to have their place.
Yes, and it's easy to say.
And you can let sponsors decide which one they're interested in sponsoring.
Yeah. The cliff here is that for individual sponsoring, we have nothing to do.
Sorry, why I have the open mic, and then I'll shut up. I'm also interested in looking how we can apply whatever is decided here to satellite projects such as Commerce.
Okay. Yeah. So what's really important here is that if we don't do anything as the Orchard Core community, anyone can just enable the sponsor button and the patron button on their own account and advertise it by themselves. There is nothing we can say about it, or we would like to say about it. Free to do everything you want for that. Antoine did it for his own account. Something he didn't do, and I don't know if it's just a technical limit or by kindness. I don't see the Orchard Core repository here. Is it that you could not link to the Orchard Core repository because it's not you don't own this? Or could you and you just decided not to do that? And maybe we would like people to ask for permission before doing that.
Yeah, maybe I could.
Okay. So, because,
in fact, it appears because on those repositories, I added .github/funding.yml.
Thank you. I forgot about looking at that. So
I appear as a sponsor with my GitHub account.
Okay.
So I guess to appear as Orchard Core, we would need to add a funding.yml with my name in the Orchard Core repository.
So what's nice here is that not everyone can just add Orchard Core here in their page. It's the project that owns who appears there. And I assume that will also drive, like on Vue.js, it will also drive who appears on the pop-up for sponsor here. So if I see the two people here and I go to GitHub funding, there should be the two links. Patreon, Open Collective. Yes, the two users here. And maybe it will, what happens if we have like 100? Maybe it will just work. Okay, so that's at least that's a positive thing, that not everybody can link to Orchard Core. That removes this potential security issue we have here. But then, should we, or what would be the reasons to push to see some contributors and not every contributor, or not everyone, to a button that we will put on the project? I don't know. So the easy solution right now is to say we don't add the button as long as there is no Open Collective. We don't want to push specific individuals on this list. Another option would be we can push anyone that is a contributor on this list. That's fine. It's about everyone else to decide if they want to sponsor.
You're limited to 4.
There's a limit of 10 people.
I think we will all agree that settles the discussion, which is we won't add anyone there because we have to choose who are the 10. And we have 150 contributors. And taking the 10 most contributors would be so unfair because some of us are paid to do that. Some of us have done maybe renames on all the files and will appear at maybe more committed. So that will be hard to decide to add on the list. Another option would be to have, like we have contributors page. If, I don't know, if they accept sponsorship, we can add a token, a badge to that, like sponsors or whatever. But at the same time, if you go on their account, you can see they are sponsorable. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we can do anything with that unless we have links to sites like Open Collective for the project. It's up to every individual to add, to manage their own sponsorship button. Then Open Collective, my issue I have with creating a project is that it will have to be managed. And that might be okay. Antoine. Bertrand mentioned that it's kind of like the Net Foundation. A big difference I see here is that anyone can send money to Open Collective. Nobody can send money to the Net Foundation. Well, nobody. Nobody can send money to the Net Foundation for the Orchard project.
Would it be an Open Collective thing, be an opportunity for people to sponsor things like Harvest, to make more of that happen more regularly by actually putting some funding towards it?
Well, that could be one reason for you to give to Open Collective, but when you do a donation, can you say that it's all because people want Harvest to happen?
No, I guess what I was saying is could that be one of our reasons for potentially having an Open Collective? Is saying
yes.
Our goal is to have more Harvest-related activities and those kind of things?
I think that would be great to have an Open Collective to fund the project, because some people might want to fund the project. Companies, individuals might just want to say, I want to give money to the community because I want the project to be better. And either by, and then if as an Open Collective we decide, oh, we'll use the funds to organize an Harvest, or to have better shirts at the Harvest, or to have better hardware to record the Harvest, or to stream the Harvest, or a videographer to do videos, and then maybe just to say, oh, we need a good design, a dedicated design for the website, or we need someone to pay for the hosting, because we need better hosting, and whatever we use today is more than that. Or maybe we want to prevent Antoine from paying for the hosting, because that's what happens today. He's paying stuff for us, right? Azure is, the Donate Foundation is paying for some hosting. I'm sure with limits, because if one, like for instance, today I want to upgrade the tryorchard.net machine because it's slow. Well, I will have to ask the Donate Foundation first. I'm not sure they will say yes. And if they say no, what do we do? I pay with my money. I ask Antoine to pay with his money. So that would be a reason to have an Open Collective. Yes, for these expenses, not just Harvest, for anything we want to pay. And I think nobody will have anything to say against that. We will just have to decide about a way to vote for what do we pay with the money if we have a choice to make. Might not be an issue at all. If we can prevent to have to define ways to vote and decide, and to prevent conflict. I want to prevent conflict from the contributors to decide what's happening. I'm sure we have 10 years of experience now with the community. We have rarely had any issue with the community, even less for anything that involves money or who contributes what. So I'm confident with that. If we can prevent to have conflicts, I'd rather do that. But I'm open to having an Open Collective for the project if we show that we can be responsible for whatever balance we have to spend on. And also that will open the possibility for anyone who wants to contribute money instead of time to do that. So I think that will be an option also. That might be, yeah. So has anyone anything to say against having an Open Collective for the project? or is favorable to say to have an open collective, saying yes, we need one, definitely, we should have one?
And I think it would be potentially a positive thing. I know we as a company have used Orchard for years, and you know, we're an agency, so we develop commercial platforms with it. But one of the ways we give back is through contributing. But you know, to be able to contribute back financially when we can't contribute code would also be really positive.
Yeah, that will help. For instance, tomorrow we want to pay for hosting, and a company is willing to do that. It's also interesting to put a layer between the two, because we can't ask whatever company to pay directly, because tomorrow maybe they won't pay anymore, and then we need to switch to someone else. So by having something like Open Collective, there is a continuation with what and who is paying is the Open Collective, and then people can just funnel money to the Open Collective. That makes everything also easier to manage if we want to do that. I have no idea how much work it is then after into management and following everything. And I assume it won't be hard, because today we have nothing. So even if we have 2 expenses per year, we will manage that. It will be easy to manage. So yep. And I don't know about the structure. Who decides what, and like which individuals or companies decide to maintain the Open Collective? Maybe Donate Foundation does it, should do it, maybe. So first thing I will do for sure is to talk to them and ask them, what do you do for that? And can you handle Open Collective, and just grant permissions to whoever you think should own the Open Collective, or validate that? But yeah, just to see what they say about that. I'm sure they have that already. Image Sharp, I think they have one. Is that what we saw? Image Sharp. Antoine mentioned that. So Image Sharp, they have the sponsor. So Image Sharp is part of the Foundation. They have an Open Collective. If I take, let me check the contributors. If I take James, he has a sponsor button, and he didn't put himself, you see, in the list of sponsored individuals here. So that will match the model that we are looking at. And he's got sponsors, okay. Oh, but he's pointing 6 labels, Image Sharp still, but we didn't see him in the list here. So maybe there's an option to just, no, there is something else, you see. I don't know how it works, Antoine, but this is listed. Maybe anyone can do that. Okay. That, and they have an Open Collective, I said. So if we look at Image Sharp sponsor Open Collective, okay, so monthly financial contribution to Image Sharp. That's the sponsors. MVP Summit flights, renewal for domain names. You see, like some domain names are paid by the Foundation, some of them are paid by Antoine. It's kind of shame that we have to ask Antoine to pay for domain names. I assume, right, the orchardcore.net, you own it, right? And you pay for it?
Yes.
Yes, so if tomorrow Antoine decides to be angry with the orchardcore community, he can just take it down. And that's also a risk for us to rely on Antoine. We trust him, we always, but it's a risk for us, and it's also bad for him because he has to pay for it. Okay, so anything that I didn't mention during all this talk? Open Collective, individual sponsorship. So to do, actions. Talk with the .NET Foundation about creating an open collective, just to see all the issues and all the advantages about that, okay? Just to get feedback. But I assume nobody is against that, and everyone will be okay with us having an open collective. And then I want to see who can add Orchard Core as a project they contribute to on their own page. I would assume that anyone that has contributed to Orchard Core in any way should be able to add Orchard Core on their list of projects they contribute to. It doesn't mean they own Orchard Core, they are the main contributors. It just means they contribute to it. So it's anyone can then decide to sponsor or not sponsor someone, some individual for that. I have no issue with that. I see no issue with that, so I don't have any. If someone sees any, please speak. Anything else I should add? So when you say, you see, Michael Patterson, you can put me on there. I mean, you can put Orchard Core on your sponsorship page. That's very good. And then when we have an open collective, if we have an open collective, anyone should be able to submit an expense. Not after the fact. It's good to talk with the open collective managers to see if the expense will be reimbursed before the fact. But I assume anyone then contributing should be able to ask for money for the effort they made. Either we could even talk about sponsoring people to just work on a feature. Some companies have done that by the past, saying, okay, you will work on that, it will be open source, and I will pay you to do that because we need it and we want to make it open source also. But that might be a way for the community itself to drive features that we want to be done. There are other issues after that, but we can see later. But that will be also a way for us to make things happen faster. That's all. No other comments? So everyone agrees. All good. So I will start a discussion with the .NET Foundation about that. And knowing that we have also talking about money, the 2 last harvests we did, the funds we got from the, what's the name of the platform we use to get the money?
Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. The funds we got from Eventbrite went into the DNF Foundation, and I have the balance of what we used from the DNF Foundation based on that and what we got them for that. So I still need to have a status update about the money, and that the goal is to reuse that for the next harvest all the time. I think the only things we bought with that are the video recorder, a hard disk to store the videos, and usually we use the money for shirts and everything. But that's the only thing. So we have a few $1,000s on this account to be used for next harvest. And it's completely not transparent because nobody has any idea, okay? With an open collective, it will be maybe very open. And maybe we could use the same account to host the Eventbrite money also. That would make everything much more open than even with the .NET Foundation in this case. Good, questions? I assume we'll talk about that and that next week. Questions, comments? Is anyone still here? I see people, but I don't hear anything from anyone. Yeah, alive. Thank you, Dean, for breathing in your microphone.
Still here.
Okay, so we're all good then. See you on Thursday, 10 a.m. for triage, and next week for the next meeting. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Cheers, bye.